Hello and good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I am Ray Sargent. I am an herbologist, and I am an entrepreneur and a cannabis supporter. And tonight, or those of you who follow me know that I am in the midst of a 30 Lives in 30 Day challenge. Now, some people call it a 30 go live each day for 30 days challenge, but not me. I call it a 30 Lives in 30 Days challenge because I'm getting it done, right, Maggie? But I'm doing a 2-for-1 again. Just like last week, I had a school assignment that required a short video presentation. So I'm doing my live challenge and my school presentation right here for you. And you may have noticed last week I mentioned that we're learning about diaphoretics, which are herbs that create sweating. Enable you to sweat. And I'm learning this despite the fact that my 9-month-old puppies decided that I really don't need the first 105 pages of my new herbology book. Thankfully, there's an online copy. So I was able to look up the information that we're studying on thyme, and I chose thyme because we're doing the COVID times, and if there was one herb I could pick for you to take to help support you during this season, it would be thyme. And it doesn't take much. It's a very strong herb, and you really just need a little bit to do the job. So thymus vulgaris in Latin, is in the mint family, or the Lamiaceae. I always have trouble saying that word. The common names are garden thyme and common thyme. There are actually more than 40 species of thyme that have been identified, and some of the hybrids that have been created are lemon thyme and caraway. Each species has its own chemotype or its own chemical profile that makes it unique. And thymus vulgaris, the most common of the thymes, is the highest in thymol, which is the chemical that is known to be a powerful antibacterial and antiviral. It has many other things that it can do, actions that the constituents have, but that's what makes it especially good for this time. It is a shrub that gets to be about 2.5 feet tall. It has tiny little leaves that are grayish and green in color, and they grow in pairs up the stem, and then they create a pinkish lavender flower, and it's very aromatic. The flavor is pungent and has a slightly bitter flavor. The parts of thyme that we use are the leaves and the flowers, and it also is very strong in essential oil. So thyme essential oil is an important thing for your toolkit as well. It does grow as a common garden herb all throughout North America. It does like to grow in light, dry, and stony soil. And it can grow from seeds, cuttings, or root pieces. And it turns out the best way to... Sorry, puppy, you have to wait a few minutes. The best way to propagate thyme is through rootings, because it's found that plants that grow from roots are actually sweeter in flavor, a milder flavor, than if it were propagated from seed. And the best time to pick thyme is just as it's coming into flowering season, just as it is with anything in the mint family. The herb thyme is full of tannins, which are a bitter principle that helps with digestion, and it's packed with flavonoids that are high in antioxidants. Antioxidants that are known to protect blood vessel lining, support and normalize vasomotor function, and it also decreases the chances of cardiovascular disease. So for that reason alone, add a little thyme to your food. Put a little in your salad dressing. It also has diterpenic acid, polyphenols, which is the thymol that I mentioned earlier, and it has many antibiotic compounds. Another major constituent is carbachol, which is known for skin healing. It also has, the essential oil has borneol, linalool, pinene, and methanol. Many of the culinary uses, thyme is one of the main herbs in the Mediterranean diet, and you can use it on raw or cooked vegetables. It can be used in stews, casseroles. You can sprinkle it over salads, put it in your dressing. If you have the lemon thyme variety, it's wonderful on fish, in custards, in pickling. In olden time days, they would very often use thyme in their, in the English would put it in their cheeses and in their beers, alcoholic drinks. It's very important to know, however, that the thyme, especially essential oil, is not good to be used while pregnant. It is okay while breastfeeding in moderation. The amount that you would use for during that time would be a small amount, like the amount you would put in your cooking, not much more than that. Thyme essential oil has a low therapeutic margin, which means that it doesn't take much before it becomes a higher toxic level. You don't want thymol building up in your system. It's known to irritate skin and mucous membranes. The other thing that's very important to know is that thyme can inhibit liver enzymes that are responsible for metabolizing pharmaceuticals. So if you're someone who takes medicine, you want to make sure that it's not on the list of things that thyme can interact with. It can increase the risk of bleeding for people who take anticoagulants, and it may inhibit estrogen replacement therapies. So there are some contraindications with thyme, surprisingly, since it's such a common herb. So I have a whole list of things that thyme does, but I'm really going to focus on the ones that I have starred here because those are the ones that are make it especially good for the flu and COVID season. It does have antibacterial properties. It's an nociceptive, which means that it blocks the detection of pain. It's an antioxidant, which I mentioned the benefits of that earlier. One of the side effects of COVID can be diarrhea, so it also can help with that. It's an antitussive. It'll help expectorate any of the catarrh that's stuck in the lungs. It's an antiviral. A diaphoretic, which means it'll make you sweat. Sweating's important. It'll help you expel toxins that are caught up in your body. And it's a disinfectant. And the other thing is it's a nervine, a stimulating nervine, which will help to calm the capillaries so that they can do their job better. Okay, I'm guessing. Some of the things that thyme has been known to be good for is asthma, bronchitis, loosening up catarrh in your lungs, coughs, diarrhea, fevers, pain, sore throats, weakness. And we always hear about rosemary being great for memory, but thyme also has the constituents that are great for that, and it's also a very wonderful insect repellent. So the next time, hi Melody, so the next time that you have some congestion, any kind of respiratory inflammation, you might consider trying a natural cough syrup that you can make very easily yourself. And it's pretty simple. If you take 2 ounces of marshmallow, Althea officinalis, and 2 ounces of thyme vulgaris, the leaves and the root of the marshmallow. And what you would do is you would simmer those herbs in 2 pints of water until it's become reduced to 1 pint. And then you're going to strain that in something that you can measure it, and you want to know how much fluid you have exactly once you're done straining that. And you're going to take 1 part of however much is left after straining and add the equal part of honey. Mix them together. My book says to simmer until it becomes thickened, but I'm a firm believer in not cooking honey. There's lots of good stuff in honey that when you cook it, it will zap the goodness right out of it. So you want to, in my opinion, you're better off leaving it uncooked. And once you've given it a chance to cool down, you can then put that into a bottle and make sure that you label it correctly with the date as well of when you made your remedy, so that you know, they don't last forever. You want to make sure you have it dated so that you can use it up in a timely way. And for adults, you would take 1 tablespoon of that cough syrup every 2 or 3 hours. And for children, you would take 1 teaspoon every 2 or 3 hours. Yes, I have a comment here. Annie Sargent is here, and she said that large amounts of vitamin D are also very helpful, and vitamin C as well. I would recommend C, D, and thyme. Add a little thyme to your salad dressing or to your cooking, and enjoy those benefits, and make time. You're worth it. You know, it's amazing how all these herbs can help us to grow our immune system stronger, which is going to be the number 1 thing that you can be doing for yourself right now to avoid the plagues that are going around us. So thanks for tuning in and checking out my live. Hey Bruce, hey Annie, hey Melody, thanks for coming by. And thank you to my professor. I have Dr. Scott again this year, Scott Stewart. He's one of the senior professors at my school. I enjoy learning with him, and this is my 2nd time having him. He's really knowledgeable about the different terrains. I want to learn more about that from him this year. And he's also super knowledgeable about Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. So I'm very fortunate that even though that's not part of the program I'm taking, that I have a teacher who extends that extra knowledge that he possesses to his students. So looking forward to a wonderful semester. Yes, make time for yourself. You're worth it. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for tuning in.